Order 713. And slight change to the usual agenda. We're going to start with a presentation from our friends at First Financial. Thanks for coming out. What do you have to talk to us about today?
So first I want to say hello, thank you for having us. For those who don't know me, I'm Janice Basoli from First Financial Trust. My colleague Andrew DiNuccio. A couple of compliance things. If I could get a list of trustees with their terms, we covered the list. Okay. And then after Andrew's done, maybe we can just discuss the investment profile and just make sure that you want to keep everything the way it is. So otherwise I'll turn it over to Andrew about the investments. And I know everybody got a packet. It's a little different format than before because we went on to a new system.
Yeah, if anybody want to, I printed 3 so you can share them. I sent them by email.
Yeah, I have it on my computer.
You got it on your computer, so.
There's 2 there.
Because you have the need to do notes, I only have one eye, so.
That's all right.
I can share with you.
I can share with you.
Oh, here's another one here.
I'll take a copy after.
Okay.
Unless you want to go over the form.
Yeah, sure. So the packet is a consolidated performance of the total portfolio. The account is invested in regard to the investment policy statement. Currently, the total portfolio is about 70% equities, and then about 30% fixed income, with a little over 5% making up cash. And that cash is in our money market account right now. Yeah, so that's the general breakdown of the account. On the second page.
Let's make one noise for you.
Sorry.
So, the first page just kind of gives a general highlight of the allocation of the account. On the second page, you find more the account breakdown of all the individual accounts that make up the total portfolio. They're all invested in a similar strategy, about 70% equities, about 30% fixed income. Pretty much right in line with the investment policy statement. From our standpoint, we don't see any reason to kind of change those ranges right now. So on that second page, like I said, you'll see breakdown of account by account. You'll see total return, year to date, quarter to date, and then some of the top performing holdings within the accounts, and so you'll get kind of a makeup of the accounts from there. So far, the accounts, have averaged 9.21% return for the year. And the accounts go anywhere from up 10.9% to about 8.9%, and that's just generally, slight changes in regards to the holdings within the account. Some of the accounts have a larger dollar value, and we're able to do a little bit more, with individual fixed income holdings and such. And then some of the accounts are pretty small, so they only hold a couple of ETFs. So that's kind of the reason for the difference of, one account being up 10.9% and that one being up 9.15%. So that's pretty much where we are today. The following page has just one account, then if you go to the next one, this is kind of just the makeup of the accounts. We're very diversified. We don't really put any one holding greater than typically, 10 or 15% of a total account when it comes to individual equities. So you'll see, a lot of different ETFs and strategies within the account, from equal weights to, some commodity, international exposure, small cap. And the way that we invest is kind of, we'll have higher percentages on, where we think the market's gonna be outperforming over the next, 12 months or so. So that's kind of how we invest the accounts. And then, I mean, there's kind of just a little more redundancy on here, in regards to, you know, equities, fixed income, cash breakdown, and then individual sectors within, you know, equities holdings and fixed income holdings, but I really wanted to open up if there's any kind of questions or concerns on, the way the portfolio's been allocated, and I can kind of talk about what's been going on in the market, if anyone's interested in kind of what we're kind of doing going forward as well, in regards to the accounts.
So small potatoes, but why do we have anything in cash at all?
So it's in our money market account, and that right now is it was earning as of last week 5.22%, and right now it's earning 5.78%. So it's still very attractive to be, you know, zero risk, getting nearly 5%. You know, at some point they'll probably get lower to about 2%. But some bonds have come to maturity in the past week, and I need to go and reinvest those out in the market. And to be honest with you, there's not a ton out there better than 5%, no matter if you go from 2% to 10% on the yield curve in maturity. So, I mean, cash is still a good spot right now. Yields are going to be coming down over the next 12 months. So I will use some of that cash to lock in some fixed income as we get, you know, approaching further rate cuts.
So you just outlined one potential shifting strategy based on changing the climate for interest rates. Any other, what other kinds of things do you guys look at over the course of the year?
Yes, so we, on our investment committee, we meet weekly, right, and we're talking about everything that's going on in the market each week. You know, we usually meet for an hour or so each week and talk about what's going on. Obviously, we have an election coming up. We don't change our investment strategy based on, you know, certain events. We take a longer term approach. So we're not gonna, you know, make any knee-jerk reactions to who we think is gonna, you know, become the next president and what the administration is gonna look like. We still have a good outlook on the economy. Obviously, we have seen some slower growth in some economic numbers. You know, in regards to some of the jobs numbers and such that have been coming out. But yeah, we don't see the need to make any drastic changes because we naturally kind of have more of a value tilt in regards to investing rather than kind of a growth tilt. And in the last couple months, that's what we've really seen in the market. I mean, for a while, it's been, you know, your mega cap tech that's brought all the gains into the market. In the last couple months, we've seen, you know, outperformance in things such as consumer staples, healthcare, REITs, and utilities. You know, more interest rate sensitive sectors. So we don't see the need to make any type of drastic changes. The biggest thing I'm going to look to do is use some of that cash that you mentioned and lock in some fixed income rates. You know, probably somewhere from anywhere 2 to 5 years. Depending what's out there, but I'm not in a rush to do it because we're still able to get nearly 5% in cash. And I think actually, even though yields have been cut, you're gonna see the longer end of the curve, you know, the 10-year yield is probably gonna tick up higher from here. It has since rate cuts have happened, right? You know, interest rates move every day, so just waiting a little bit to lock in some more fixed income.
Thanks, and you know, it shows what I know. I thought the good rates on cash were the thing of the past, but apparently it's a good thing you guys are doing what you do.
Yeah, they're still there, so it's nice to
Yeah.
have that there.
So you don't have any plans to adjust, say, the maturities of your fixed rate portfolio or as rates drop? I mean, some of it will do it by itself, but.
Correct, I mean, there's not a ton of individual fixed income holdings within the account. In some of the larger accounts there are. I mean, everything I'm still seeing in the market, you really getting the best returns in the shorter end to the belly of the curve. I mean, when you're looking at 10 plus years, you're getting, you pretty close to what you're getting at 2 years right now.
Yeah.
I would like to take advantage because I do think rates are gonna keep coming down, so some of the cash, I will try to look to maybe extend maturities a little bit, maybe to 3 to 5 years. But there's no fixed income holdings right now that are set to mature in the next 3 to 6 months, so I'd really be using some cash right now.
Could you say something about your fees, how you charge us? I'm not looking for numbers necessarily, but just the nature of it.
Yeah, do you wanna handle that?
It's by the market value, and I wasn't prepared for that question. I think it's
Oh, you're good.
So it's a percent.
it's a percent. Normally we charge a 1% fee, but it's heavily discounted for the library. I can give you the exact number. I will.
So it's 1%, well, it's typically 1% for the year, that's not what we charge the library though.
Right.
It is on a discount. But it's taken out at the end of each month, so 1/12 each month. Based on the ending market value of the month. So we don't take it, off of one, we try to make it fair, so it's not, if the account's, going down or going up, the fee will adjust accordingly.
So there's no other fees that you take?
No,
So
No.
just,
No, so
it's just the management fee.
we do well, you do well.
Yes, the Fisher investment,
Yeah.
slogan, if you wanna, they stole it from us.
We've been the true fiduciary since the beginning of time, way before Fisher.
But yeah, and all the investment, kind of to talk about fees, for the most part, there are no mutual funds in any of these accounts, and we stay away from mutual funds for the most part. We do use a lot of low-cost ETFs. Not in any of these accounts, but we do use individual stocks and fixed income ETFs and individual fixed income securities that we buy out in the open market. So we're not buying any we don't have any proprietary funds or.
Fund fees.
Yeah, exactly. That's something that we do monitor when we select ETFs to go into accounts. Obviously, it is part of it, there's a lot of different criteria that we look at, obviously historical performance, the composition, the fund managers, but then the expense ratio on the fund itself. So that's something we heavily consider when we add or remove funds on our list. And as you may be aware, ETFs are the lowest cost option, and a lot of them are pretty close to zero at this point.
Thank you.
So one of the things we're generally looking at, obviously when we need to spend, we spend money. But we also keep an eye on, at a certain point, we're sitting on a certain amount of money where we're going to go looking for good things to do with the money. Take advantage of it now rather than just let it sit until the end of time. Is there a way, do you have any tools where we can look at, we're only allowed to spend income. So the amount of income we have in each of the funds is a function of time, like per month, how much we're sitting on, something like that.
Something we track regularly, isn't it?
Regularly.
Yeah, so,
I think maybe it was in the packet.
I think it was in the
Oh, this one,
Yeah.
this one right here.
Yeah.
so this is what I get every
That
month.
should be as August, I haven't got a correction in a long time,
This
so.
is, yeah, this is the, what I get. And these numbers are on this that I give you every month, because that's everything.
So yeah.
And it also help, by doing it on multiple spreadsheets, I check it, which is why.
Well, we only have
That's
to
how
issue
it will-
when the
yeah.
change.
And sometimes it's my fault, because it will be affected by income. And income will go a certain place and I'll put it in the wrong place or whatever.
Yeah, so that sheet
So
does
sometimes-
track income each month, but it does have the income that's been generated in the account since inception.
Yeah,
Sure, with that, which is great, but I'm thinking like, in August, what was the income, in September, what was the income, in each of those accounts, like I can go through all of the reports and scrape the data, but I don't want to.
I'll do that.
so in the
for you.
workbook that I have here, well, I don't do every individual account, I track it at the end of the year. But I can get those numbers however you want them.
And even just a graph to give us a sense that, oh, we're sitting on a lot of money, we should do something with it, or we're not, or the opposite, and you really need to technical. So you just like a kind of a gross, idea of how to chart the course, you know?
So the total amount is in that, what we have to spend is in that.
Mhm.
So how would you wanna see that?
So every month you give us one of these reports and there's a different number in that column, so,
Because,
But it's totaled,
it's
So there's
but it's
also
total.
monthly.
yeah, but the monthly look at, right?
and then there's the grand total.
Yeah.
Yeah, so grand total.
Yeah,
If we were to spend from it, it would come out of that total income?
yes,
Like, I think that's what I was wondering, okay.
yeah.
So this is what we have to spend currently in the total income column.
Okay, so then that's what I'm looking to chart
Yes.
over time.
Yes, so that's
Right.
My misunderstanding.
Yeah, so we can sit with I can even send you the workbook, and we can talk about what would be the most useful way for you to look at it.
Yeah, no, that would be great. I started thinking about this when we were talking about spending the one account that's tied to only books on guns.
yes.
Yeah.
And it was a small amount of money, but also it seemed like historically it was a lot, so it's like time to spend a little bit of it. So that's the kind of thing I'm hoping to be able to see.
And then,
Thanks for
Yeah.
letting me know how to find the information. I appreciate it.
and then if there's something else you need, we can always create something.
Yeah, I pretty much,
Yeah.
the way, because we worked on it when you
For a
first
while,
put it together, so it pretty much has everything. It would just be the way that we would play with those numbers. And when you see the total amount, you know, you have 200,000 to spend.
Yeah.
You have to really look closely at what's restricted and what isn't.
Right.
And then there's the one that just gets the, what is it, 10% of income goes back to principal.
Yeah.
So we do that every December.
Yes,
Is that the one that says 90%?
90%, because at the end of the year, 10% goes back to principal.
That's even if we spend it.
Yeah.
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 So that'd be a pretty good incentive to spend that down. Okay, anything else? I'm running rush hour of this conversation.
That was good.
And we're good with the, investment profile, and we don't wanna make any changes or anything. I think we're-
I don't see a reason to. Does anyone have an opinion on that? Reason to change how we're doing things?
Sounds like it.
Numbers are pretty good, so.
Right, we're good.
All right, thank you. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
taking the time.
Yeah, great.
And I can ask for you.
What was that? Thank you very much.
That's the way they run again.
Perfect. I can put my sign on for the
Yes.
Yeah.
Catherine, do you know off the top of your head, is there a restriction for the one that says children's books? Could you use it for online purchases? I know those are very expensive.
Online meaning ebooks?
Ebooks, yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks again.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks very much.
Sorry it's late. Train, no parking. Thanks.
Okay. That was good.
Yeah.
We'll move on to the next item on the agenda is, secretary's report. Is there a motion to accept?
I'll make a motion.
Yeah.
Or second.
Okay. All right, discussion on the secretary's report.
Minutes from the last meeting said this meeting was on the 26th, I think, I don't know if that's important.
It was.
Three
minutes from Christmas.
Just
Oh,
missed.
it's
Changed my notes. We've been updating the date of today's meeting. Any other comments, questions, concerns? I'll put it to a vote to accept Laura,
Yes.
Susan,
Yes.
Chris,
Yes.
Dan,
Yes,
Scott,
Yes.
Jim.
Yes.
Yes, passes unanimously. Moving on to the staff reports, is there a motion to accept? Or, yes, to accept.
Yes.
Second.
All right, discussion.
How was the summer?
Long and hot.
It was hot.
We did have the air conditioning go down a couple of times. So it could get really hot. But other than that, I would say I barely remember it, but just because, yeah, it was busy.
The
People were-
AC,
people were happy.
is that something we should be looking at, a bigger picture approach to it, or it seemed like a bunch of patches in the summer.
For a starter, I have a maintenance plan for it now.
Okay.
So it's gonna be looked at regularly. But it's definitely aging, so I'll be talking with Joe Conway about all of the HVAC. We're being looked at for our carbon footprint or something, I think that's happening tomorrow. So I don't know if that will play into it or
Is that environmental sustainability is looking at this?
maybe, it's from Doug, do you know, it's
It might be, yeah, it might be
Because I-
from the,
because
yes,
I think
in
all
terms
the-
of
I
all
think
the buildings.
all the town buildings are being done, so they're not.
Just to what end, to get a benchmark, just to know where we're at?
I'm not positive, but DPW notified me that there would be a couple of people here looking at everything. The last time they looked, they were looking townwide, and they weren't really interested in the library because the building was too small relative to what could be done other places. But this looks like they're gonna make recommendations based on just the building itself, not relative to everybody else.
So they make recommendations based on what they measure.
I think so, yeah, and it's got something to do with our carbon footprint, so I don't know if that might be different than what I'm actually looking at, you know, in terms of heating and cooling.
So, so Casey left us.
Casey left us, she has gone to Lincoln.
It seems sudden. Was it sudden?
No more or less than anyone else.
No, I think sometimes when people are moving, they wouldn't necessarily tell everyone until they
Yeah.
knew that they were actually gonna go, so.
I-
You know, it's not a department head position, so it's more
It's
hands.
not a department head position.
No, it's more hands-on librarianship, so.
Why is it not a department head position?
I don't know, maybe,
What she moved to is not a department head.
right,
So
Oh.
she left the department head position to take something that's more
I thought
hands-on.
you meant here in the, I thought you meant the BB, her position here at BB was
Was-
not.
it was, but what she went to is not, yeah, so.
Got it. So she's
So
maybe looking to not manage anymore?
probably, yeah. People who love librarianship, especially children's librarians, you know, I mean, it's like being a school teacher and being an assistant principal, it's a totally separate job, which is not to say that librarianship's exactly like that, but if you want your full-time dedicated to that.
I wanted that too, her report went from, she attended an all-day conference to, this is my last report. The difference between, was it a surprise or was it sudden? I think maybe surprise.
Was it super? No,
No.
it wasn't a real surprise. I think it seemed like if the right thing came along, you know, it wasn't like an anxious, wasn't just jumping ship so much as looking for the right position.
So you know, one of the things I always poke at is exit interviews. Did we collect any information on her on the way out the door?
I didn't.
We didn't see her on those. She did give very short notice.
Yeah.
I didn't even see her. I came back from vacation and she was gone.
Yeah, it was fast, it was 2 weeks.
Yeah, I guess that's just
It was 2 weeks and she had some vacation time in the 2 weeks that she took, so.
yeah, I mean, I just feel like my kids were in programs with her one day and then I saw a sign that she's leaving the next,
Yeah, it was fast.
Yeah.
It was fast.
And there were other departures as well, so I know, I'll just try to jump in there, is that, like, are we concerned about morale, are we concerned about people?
Oh, that was just pages. They
Oh,
leave
okay.
every year. They have a
Oh,
1 year
okay.
term.
Okay,
Yeah, that was normal.
okay, those are normal, great, thank you.
I was thinking, who else left?
Right.
Alright,
Yeah, that's supposed to turn over.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
A staffing question in terms of, in the reference desk, there was a comment about those are really good breakdown of the tech help. And the various questions and the dedicated tech help hours. And I may have asked this question at another meeting, but do we feel like do you feel staffed to address all the tech? It seems like that is like so much what, again, or at least from the report, it sounds like a high percentage of the questions coming
A
in.
lot of tech
Yeah.
stuff. I don't know if that was just her report this month or.
No, that's all it is. That's what they do.
That's,
Tech
it
help.
is a
Okay,
lot.
pretty much
It is a
90.
lot.
5% of their questions are tech.
Because sometimes she'll put another story in, which is a different question, and those, I guess, are a little bit rarer.
Okay.
so to Laura's point, do you feel like everyone's adequately staffed to field those kind of questions? Or trained, rather, trained is the word.
I think so, as those questions, over time, as that need has changed, as the staff has turned over, we have someone in tech services now who does technical stuff. Not tech services is actually like cataloging. But because it's got tech in it now, all of a sudden it's technology. But the person that we just hired that had, originally Lisa was there and then Ryan was there, that position we changed to be heavily technology. So she's actually teaching some of the classes that we do and, she helps out with all that's Kristen, she helps out with the tech stuff. So sometimes that's what we do is the positions morph a little bit to suit the needs of whatever people actually, need at any given time.
Not related, did everything go smoothly with the parking lot work 2 weeks ago and the closure?
Love it.
Okay, good, that's great.
Yeah, it's really nice. Jackie, are you the one who told me you got out of the car and didn't step in a puddle? Yeah, the drainage is nice and, it's nice and smooth when you come in now. Yeah,
Good.
they did a wonderful job. It's still tiny, but that's okay.
Another one of my worry beads is, the tech equipment that we have that we own here in the library, and you did mention to me over the summer, IT Glue is something that could, or is cataloging everything. How is IT Glue working out?
I don't know how far along she is with it, Megan loves it. You're using it you've just started to put some stuff in
For HR.
for HR, and I'm gonna use it for the building, but I haven't even started yet. But so far, we haven't found no one's reported a negative.
Because I'm interested in seeing a list of everything that we have here in the library, both that we own, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we are holding on to equipment to allow us to connect to the town and to Noble. I don't know if we own that or not. But, like I said, just to see what we have, to know what our
What's in the closet downstairs, how many,
just to start to do kind of an assessment of what's our security exposure. This is really my concern, but just, we should know that the way we know all the way so we can. So I'm glad to hear that
Yeah,
IT Weekly helped us get there.
And we do, and it's also good to track it over time to see how it
Yeah.
changes. Because the number of computers that we had, that's when we moved it from capital. As a capital expense, that was big because you had so many computers, public computers. And we don't have as many anymore, and the price of them has dropped.
Okay. So yeah, when that's ready, I'd love to see the list.
Yeah,
And I can, whatever my next wave of questions is going to be, and start poking at them. Okay, anyone else on staff reports?
In the applications, Casey's job, good question.
Hmm.
In the applications for Casey's job.
good one.
I use
There's a good one, one good one. That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so I think we might be on the road there.
Do we need any striping for all
Any what?
striping, marking,
For the
parking lot?
parking lot, we did it.
Okay.
Yeah, it came out beautiful.
How many spaces are there?
8, there are 8.
Yeah.
And 2 of them are are shorter because they're by a telephone pole with a guide wire. So my car is fairly long though when I get in there.
I always park in them.
Yeah, but if you had an SUV or like Dave has a truck, it would probably come out a little too far in those 2 spaces, but the others are fine, yeah. You have to juggle a little bit sometimes for people to get in and out, but it works okay. And you know who's going out in a rush because they've got marking on the side of their car where they hit the ball.
When that lot is plowed in the winter, where does the snow go? Is there a place to push it?
It pretty much
Toward
takes,
Main
it
Street?
usually takes a space. They
It does.
usually end up pushing it into a space.
Couldn't throw it over the fence.
You can a little bit, but it's not easy and they're usually in a rush.
Yeah.
Because we're just one of many that they're trying to clear, so it almost always ends up taking a space.
What is the snow you speak of?
Yeah, right. Talking to the past.
That's exactly.
Yeah, well, not having snow last year is part of the way that I managed to pave the lot to begin with. Because we saved money on snow removal, so.
Okay, anything else? If that's it, we'll vote on the motion to accept the staff report. Laura?
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Yes.
Jay?
Yes.
Yes, it passes unanimously. On to public participation. I never know whether our elected officials qualify as public, but I don't think I do, but I'm just here to as the liaison between the library board of trustees and the town council. Thanks for being here. Doug Butler, 220 Main Street.
Scott State, nice to meet you.
Is it Doug?
I'm the
Doug,
neighbor.
yes.
I'm the neighbor.
Yeah. Okay, and I don't understand the Zoom like it's gonna talk to me, but we'll keep moving.
On that note, one of the other town Zooms, you see little icons.
I know. Well, there are icons there, but it's not telling us
It's
anything.
not showing what ours. I
No.
mean, we did have one meeting where someone made it all the way to the end of the meeting undetected.
That's right,
Yeah.
that's right.
So if someone's there, if you speak up, we will hear you.
But we enable the waiting room, so they're not getting in.
Oh.
Oh,
Yeah, but you would
okay.
have gotten the things with that though.
Yeah.
But they,
Yeah.
you're fine, nobody's on.
All right, correspondence, we had a nice note, thanking us for Plaza Jazz.
And also a memo from Sherry about, that regular town meeting is Saturday, November 16th.
Good. Do we have any, business before the town at this meeting?
No.
Nice and quiet.
Nice and quiet.
Okay, we're gonna go to, committee reports, budget. Looks like we encumbered all of our material, we gave back a few nickels on personnel for the end of '24.
So we gave back the personnel, we spent all the materials on books and all materials. And then the money that was left over in contractual services, I encumbered for the driveway.
Excellent. Okay. And then no concerns about 25, 3 months in?
No, we're spending a lot quickly, but it's fine. We're just getting things done faster than what I normally do.
Oh, like in terms of material?
Materials are regular, but like building things,
Yeah, okay,
building stuff.
that's fine. If
yeah.
personnel is spending quickly, that would be a concern.
No, that's fine. It's mostly building things, and if I ran into trouble with the building things, we do have some state aid that I could rely on. Like part of the parking lot came from FY '25, and that wasn't budgeted for. So if we have a bad winter, or if something happens with the elevator, or if there's something that I didn't plan for.
For sure,
We would have some state aid.
there's levers to pull, I just wanna, idea of where you see things, quarter of the way in, so thanks for that.
Yep, it does look good.
Okay, building and grounds, what is do we have a tentative schedule for the stairs?
No, we're still talking about it. I spoke with Joe yesterday. If we have to look at the quotes again, and we have to renew them and see what they're like. And if it turns out that it has to go out to bid, DPW will help me do that, because I've never actually done that before and wouldn't even know how to, it's masonry, it's not really my strong point, so they would help me. And there's also a grant involved for that, and I don't know where that money is. Somebody does, but I just don't know, so I'm just gonna need a lot of help.
Sure, and that's the grant that's coming from the state.
Yes.
So, do we need to reach out to our representatives?
No, because I think the town has the money.
The town already has them.
I think so, but it's definitely committed, because I've seen it all over Facebook.
We did it.
That the stairs are, one of the things that we got for Wakefield, and it's the stairs, and
Okay.
So,
I
yeah,
don't recall how much it was for though.
60 or 70,000.
Yeah.
50 or 60 or
I
70,000.
thought it kept going up, like it was 50 and then all of a sudden it was
Yeah.
60 and then it might even gone up from there.
Yeah, it was a good, it seemed to me it's gonna cover it.
It's a coin toss.
So it's hard to tell, because
Let's see when we're done.
there were a lot of, the estimates were a fairly wide range. And so I wanted the engineering department to help with that too.
Absolutely. Alright. Friends, has anyone been to a Friends meeting recently?
Jackie watches on,
Well, the last one was on Zoom because it was the day we were closed.
right? So they gave us the money for the phone booth things that are at the end of the second floor.
You're gonna put a little sign on there for them? Awesome.
Somebody
Okay.
is-
I think they might have put them on social media too.
Yeah.
I think they did it on their Facebook or Instagram or.
Yeah. They're really nice. I'm really happy with them, because for something that we really needed them and so many of them are ugly. And Jackie went into the Seaport to check these out, and we had been to one in Reading and it was uncomfortable.
I was gonna say, that's
So-
where I saw them at the Reading Library and I thought about, people were using them and working there, you know, but
Theirs is really just to make a phone call, it wouldn't be in a very long, but I was like getting shortness of breath in it, it was really uncomfortable. Whereas this one, because they're all glass, they're much more comfortable and it has air in it.
nice.
The lighting is nice, yeah, they're beautiful, they're
It
really
was great, I
beautiful.
just took a little seat, it was really cool.
Yeah.
I'll have to look at it. Yeah, it's great.
And and when you look at it like from downstairs, it doesn't look like there's a phone booth in a weird place because it's so glass. It's two sides of it are glass, and the light comes through from the window, so, looks nice.
It's really good between, you initially looked at something and it sounded so bad, I wrote it off, like we're never gonna do this, it's impossible, but it's good.
And it's the sight lines, I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it's good, it doesn't look like a photo booth at Carmen.
The sight lines are fabulous, it's unintrusive, it really fits nicely in there. And
Yeah.
almost unless you're looking for it, you don't even notice it. It's great.
Yeah.
What was there before?
4 carrels. And this is actually lighter looking, because the carrels were 4 chunky pieces of wood, so it lets more light in here, so.
It fits great.
It's a win.
Looks like it was made for the space, it fits so well.
I know. It's a good thing somebody measured.
Custom.
Oh, yeah.
Because when I saw how close it was to the ceiling, I realized I could have made a mistake there, but mostly everybody double checked me. I did measure but I didn't realize how tight that was.
Have people were using
Beautifully
them?
custom fit in that location. Fabulous work.
Yeah, it looks good.
People are using them too?
Yeah, and they haven't been advertised yet.
Okay.
And people are finding them, yeah. So we haven't promoted them yet because we're sort of playing with the policy to see how that works. And so far, it seems pretty good. You were gonna tweak something yesterday, maybe,
Do
or
something every day.
yeah. So that it's smooth.
Sure.
A reservation time limit?
Yeah, right.
2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
So I think it's in 15-minute increments you have when you go in. If you go into the calendar, the meeting room, you book it online. And
It's in the quick room.
it's 50, yeah, you did put it in quick links?
Yep, it's the last link.
Yeah. So it's easy to find because it's in quick links.
Is there a way to, I shouldn't ask any questions, so I would to shut off power to it, to either get, facilitate a handoff, between reservations, let's say?
You could, but we're running on Wi-Fi. So if you, even if you unplugged it, it probably wouldn't make any difference. Because if you're on a laptop and you're using the Wi-Fi, it's on, yeah. But I think it's just like anything else in the building, if you have to ask somebody to leave, that's.
I've had to ask several people to leave and it's been fun. Most of the time they just didn't realize. You're up to their time.
Yeah.
Very good.
I have a question on Friends, sorry, I just
Yeah, no.
can't find the schedule of when I'm supposed to go to the Friends meeting.
I was wondering if I was the one who's delinquent on the last Friends meeting.
No, I usually put it, oh,
Would have been in the.
oh yeah,
It's,
I didn't find it in the minutes, I'm sorry, Laura, I don't know if you did.
Oh, I didn't put it in the last minute.
it's typically
Last
in,
year's class.
yeah, it's in one meeting near the end of whether it's June or May, it's all listed there for the year, but.
I'll
Whatever
send
one
it to everybody tomorrow.
Thank you.
It's the, yeah, it's a roster on one side and the other side is all the meeting dates.
Right,
Sorry, I didn't see it in the minutes, so I don't have any of that, thank you.
And also at at the bottom of every agenda, I put the next one, so you know it like a month in advance, but.
The next Friends meeting is October 10th. Oh, it does say Adam.
Yes, Adam for next one on the backup, which means I'm November.
Okay, good.
So alphabetically, who's before Roger?
So see, it's like
September
this.
person, right?
Let's see.
Is that how it
Yeah.
works?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, there you
I knew
go. It's
it.
okay, I missed
It
mine
was
in
you?
the
It
spring.
was me, absolutely it was me.
I missed mine in the spring, so it's nice to have it. I forgive you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, Adam is up for the next, he is not here. Okay, gift funds, we talked a fair amount about it, but, anything else, is there any people think we should be spending on the gift funds, otherwise I think the numbers are pretty good.
Do we need a procedure how to start spending more, or?
Yeah, so that's kind of why I wanna poke at, I feel like we have a good amount of money to start spending, but I wanna see how we compare to history, whether we should be looking to accumulate more, or whether we're sitting on a bonanza and we need to start taking advantage of it.
Right. Last year, we spent the scout money for IT. I don't have the income totals yet, because, they have to close the fiscal year and pull it forward, so that's in Munis, the town has those numbers, I don't have that yet. There's still a few $1,000s in scout that's expendable. But we did use that. We haven't needed it for books. But it's possible that if we wanted to add, especially if we wanted to do something special, if we wanted extra ebooks or extra something, maybe we can look at what we're spending now and see if we have any needs. We haven't the last maybe year or maybe even 2 years. It's not like there's been a special anything that we needed, so we've been okay.
If we were to buy ebooks, are they accessible for Olive Noble? I know you told us this before, but.
We can buy them in an account that's called an Advantage account.
Okay.
So it will go to Wakefield patrons first for, how long is it?
Always.
Always, it's always that. So as long as, if a Wakefield patron wants it, they get it first, and before it goes to everybody else.
Okay.
So we could buy them that way.
I know there's always books, my daughter wants on Libby books that she can't get.
So she reads ebooks?
Yeah, all the time, she's always on Libby and Hoopla and like getting things from PDF. She's got all the apps on. So I can never make a list, submit it to the library.
Yeah, do that,
Okay.
do that.
So, kind of pulling on that thread, legislative advocacy is next. At one point, there was a bill making its way through Beacon Hill to try and control the costs of those electronic materials for libraries. Did that ever go anywhere?
They're reworking it from what I can tell.
Okay.
I think it's a tough nut to crack.
I don't doubt that it's difficult. It'd be a lot easier to take some of this money and invest if we knew it was something we're gonna own rather than a 2-year license or however they're framing stuff now. It always seems like, I mean, it's good to have, right? But, just a hole to throw money into.
Do you know what I think it's good for is things that have a limited lifespan. So the kinds of things that, we have on the buzz table, that everybody wants it right now, everybody wants to read that right now, but a year from now, nobody's gonna want it. But if that's what people want, and that's what everybody's talking about, and that's what they wanna read,
That's a good point.
and we do have, if we have some flexibility to spend that kind of money and not have to do it at the expense of the things we're gonna keep, you know, or the nonfiction or the things that you really wanna support curriculum or something like that. If it doesn't do it at the expense of something else,
Yeah.
it's a treat for people because there's a lot of people reading fiction that they want the, you know, the current, they want what we're reading now.
That's a good point. There's not really much difference between an ebook that goes away or buying 8 copies of the book just to satisfy demand and giving 7 away.
It's almost in our favor.
Yeah. That's a great point, because sometimes on the bus table, there's a bunch, you know, of the same title, or thinking like the book sale, there's a bunch of the buzzworthy books, but would you need fewer of those print books, or maybe same our print books, but bump up the ebooks for those, and then we'll go through them more quickly, but we'll have a shorter queue for people waiting for them.
Right. People don't like to wait.
And are you able to see, are you able to see on Libby what patrons are waiting for? So you can see like, cause sometimes I'm surprised, even if it's not like a super new book that I've gone on there, and it's just like, you're 150, it's fine, I have plenty of other things to read in the meantime, but I'm like, well, it's not like the thing that just came out either, so.
Yeah, sometimes
But
it's
if
a surprise.
Yeah, all of a sudden everybody in Wakefield is reading that book, so
Have your book clubs reading it. Those are 10 copies.
Tried to check out Dune and there's 11 holes per copy and that looks like 40 years old.
I'll lend you my copy if you want, buddy.
Yeah, there was a movie though, right?
Yeah.
Anything else for legislative advocacy? We're pretty early on in the 26th cycle.
We're early on, I haven't heard anything yet. They did well last year though, they're happy.
Personnel, I don't think that subcommittee's met recently.
No, that's this last spring.
Okay. All right, that's it for committee reports. So we have some old business. At the last meeting of that we had back in June, Catherine presented some quotes about the digital marquee. It was a pretty sparsely attended meeting, so I wanted to give folks a chance to look and say the piece, because we had been pulling that thread for 8 years, all of that. But the long and the short of the discussion amongst the trustees present was that it's a lot of money for not much benefit in the end. So I don't know if there's any other comments, questions, concerns.
I read through it, I understand, it's a wonderful thought, but when you start rolling into the practical reality of how it works and what it's gonna cost and what the maintenance is gonna be.
Yeah. For me, the nail in the coffin was every 5 to 7 years doing it all over again.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
5 years, that's what did it for me too, 5 years, that's nothing.
And my first meeting 5 years ago, this was on the top, and so I don't feel great about our ability to turn this over every time.
Or your first lawsuit that says, well, I was reading the marquee when I hit you.
Yeah.
Well, you also presented a very fair and practical alternative to the digital marquee.
So
Yeah, we'll see how that works.
So we're gonna pursue the masonry aspect of things and then we'll
Which is definitely coming after the stairs.
Yep.
At the front, the top stairs just got done this week. They needed to be pointed, which happened overnight, all of a sudden, they needed to be done.
Just speaks to the sooner we get all the stairs, the better, because it's not just money, it's Dave's time.
And it's also like, who can do that, and if they have to work with a carpenter because of the front door, and have to figure out what kind of glass, and a lot of people just don't wanna, you know.
On the marquee, can you get solar lighting or something of that effect, if there's no way to wire that there?
It is wired already, and there's a light inside it. I think the bulb's burnt out or something, but it's electrified and it's lit, so we'd be able to light it.
Yeah.
But we'd have to be able to put something in it in a way that the light would shine on it. So that means a carpenter or somebody has to tell us how to do that.
And then, you know, like you say, buying a new sign every month to hang up there is cheaper than just the maintenance on the digital contract.
Yeah, that doesn't seem sustainable to me.
It's not,
That seems like.
it's not intended for a municipal building, at least not one this size.
Yeah, it seems like it.
Okay, so that's the old business. Any other comments? I did ask to have it brought back up just to make sure every trustee had a chance to say their piece. Okay, virtual meeting booths. We're going to talk a little bit about them.
That was it. If you've seen them, if you haven't seen them, check them out on your way out. And was there something else about that? No, that was it. But it's followed by meeting room policy update. Oh, no, that's different, never mind, I'm sorry. Anything else about that's different? I'm getting my rooms confused.
No,
Okay, so the pods, the booths.
You're reading my mind though. Are we going to need to update the meeting room policy to address the booth? Do we need a separate policy or are we covered
It will
by?
it will be a separate policy. And I'll bring that next month when we're sure we have what we need it to be. But it's relatively simple. It's almost a procedure.
But yeah, just good to have something to point to if someone does get testy about being asked to leave the booth. So, yeah, meeting room policy update. Looked like there was a half a line that was changed in our current one. What is I'm sorry, go ahead, I'm jumping.
So that, yeah, on the second page, there's a red line that I added. It doesn't replace anything, that's just added to the end of the line. And the reason I put that in there is because if we can get this to work properly, because this screen is here, the town wants to book this room more often for public meetings. And because we typically didn't do that, we never had a screen here before, so you wouldn't do that. What the policy is for the public when they use the room. And we also would allow town, like say the school department wanted to have a meeting here, the staff, they could have a meeting here, and that could be closed to the public. So we were careful what had to be open to the public, what had to be closed. So in this case, I talked to Tom Mullen and said, I think we need to refer to the open meeting law. It's the open meeting law that will apply to public municipal government meetings in that room as opposed to anything else that's in this policy. So that's the only reason why that's there. And he read it and said, that's good, thanks. So, and then he explained, if the garden club meets there, they cannot exclude anyone. But a public meeting at the library, he said, and this is the case now, is the library trustees meet there, they can go into executive session and close it off. It doesn't have to be a public. So that's according to the public meeting, the open meeting law.
I wasn't thinking it was an executive session, but that's good. I was thinking we kicked out the Boy Scouts for not having open meetings, right? So it felt weird to make it carve out just for other government bodies.
It's just that it will supersede, the open meeting law will supersede our meeting room policy. But for the most part, the policy is gonna apply. And the way that you book it will still be through Stephanie. so the public will still have access to it first. Or equally.
Okay, so we need to vote on that update to the policy or not?
Yes.
Okay, is there a motion to accept the amended meeting room policy?
Second.
Any further discussion? Let's vote. Laura?
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes.
And yes, it passes unanimously. Items not reasonably anticipated by the chair. Anything we missed, any go backs? Anything we want seen at next meeting? Alright. Hearing none, that brings us to the end of the agenda. I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Let's, hearing no discussion, let's vote. Laura?
Yes.
Susan?
Yes.
Chris?
Yes.
Dan?
Yes.
Scott?
Yes.
Jackie?
Yes.
Yes, we are adjourned. Thanks, everybody.
And
Thank you.